Stop!
In the suburbs of Illinois, in a quiet town called Arlington Heights, a child was born on October 14th, 1993. But this was no ordinary child. This boy would grow up to capture the attention of millions. His name was Charlie Kirk. Childhood and the parents behind him. Charlie grew up in a comfortable home. His father, a manager at an architecture firm. His mother, a strong homemaker, the kind of woman who whispered into her son's ear, "In this world, success doesn't come from books alone. It comes from courage and vision." Even as a child, Charlie was different. While other kids were busy with cartoons, he was collecting newspaper clippings, asking his father endless questions about politics, wars, and world leaders. His father would laugh and say, "Son, one day you'll either become a politician or you'll shock the entire world." In school, Charlie wasn't the top student in math or science, but when it came to history, society, or leadership, he stood out. Teachers often said, "Charlie, your questions go far beyond our textbooks." That curiosity grew stronger. He joined the Boy Scouts, where he first tasted leadership. And among his peers, there was one belief: if anyone could lead them out of a mess, it was Charlie. By his senior year in high school, Charlie dreamed of joining the U.S. military. He thought that was his true destiny, but fate had another plan. At Bristol University, Charlie began giving speeches at campus events, and those speeches changed everything. Once, standing before a restless student crowd, he said, "If we don't awaken our young generation, the future will slip away into the wrong hands." That single line spread like wildfire. Local newspapers wrote, "A college kid with a voice louder than politicians." And in that moment, Charlie made a choice. Education was important, but his mission was bigger. He would dedicate his life to politics and to shaping America's future. But destiny wasn't finished with him. Because in those very years, he met someone who would change his life forever. Her name was Erica Francevay. Smart, ambitious, stunning. They met at a conference. Charlie was on stage, speaking with passion. Erica sat in the audience listening closely. Afterward, she walked up to him and said, "Your words, they carry a light strong enough to cut through the darkness." That sentence struck Charlie's heart like an arrow. From that day, they were inseparable. What began as admiration soon grew into love. Marriage, and a new life begins. In 2021, Charlie and Erica were married. It wasn't just a wedding. It was a union of two powerful spirits, and the media took notice. People said, "This isn't just a couple. This is a partnership of vision." Charlie often told his friends, "The greatest gift of my life is Erica." Not long after, 2 children were born into their world, and Charlie changed again, from activist to father. Holding his newborn, he whispered, "These little ones, they are my true movement. Politics may fade, but for their future, I will fight to my last breath." Erica shared photos of their family online, and the internet lit up with comments. "This isn't just a family. This is a story of hope and legacy." But with every bright light comes the shadow. Charlie's speeches, his growing influence, his family's happiness, they made people wonder, was this young man's rise making enemies in the dark? Enemies powerful enough to watch, to wait, and to strike? Today, we return to the day that shook America to its core. It began like any other. A crisp morning in Utah, September 10th, 2025. But by nightfall, one of the most shocking assassinations in modern American history would unfold. Charlie Kirk arrived at Utah Valley University that morning with energy. confidence, and a mission. The event had been advertised as a rally, a speech for young Americans. The theme was simple, but powerful. Come back, America. For weeks, Charlie had been promoting this message, a vision of restoring values, unity, and patriotism. He believed this could be the start of a new movement. The auditorium buzzed with excitement. Hundreds of students, activists, and supporters filled the seats. Cameras flashed. Phones recorded every step he took toward the stage. Charlie walked up, waved, smiled, and stood before the crowd. The lights focused on him. He adjusted the microphone, and then, with the same fire that had carried him since college, he began to speak. America is not dead. It is not broken. It is not finished. This is the time for a comeback of spirit, of strength, of freedom. The crowd erupted in applause. Cheers echoed through the hall. For nearly 20 minutes he delivered his message, and then, just as he leaned forward to emphasize a line, the shot. Bang! A single gunshot cracked through the air. Then another, and another. The audience froze. Screams erupted. Chaos broke out. Charlie staggered, his hand clutching his neck. Blood spilled onto the stage floor. Supporters rushed forward, some trying to shield him, others ducking for cover. Security scrambled. People cried out, "Sniper! Sniper!" From the rooftop of a nearby building, just 200 yards away, a hidden shooter had taken aim. A bolt-action rifle, cold, precise, deadly. Within seconds, the shooter vanished into the shadows. Inside the auditorium, chaos consumed everything. Students ran for the exits. Some tripped, some fell, others froze in shock. On stage, paramedics rushed to Charlie's side. His pulse was faint. The bleeding was severe. They tried desperately to save him. But within moments, America's fiery young voice was silenced. News spread instantly. Across phones, across the internet, across the nation. Charlie Kirk shot dead at Utah Valley University. Every TV channel broke coverage. Every headline screamed the same word. The FBI arrived within hours. Local police, federal agents, forensic teams. The building across the street was swarmed. On the rooftop, investigators found a rifle, abandoned, with shell casings beside it. Closer inspection revealed strange details. On some of the casings, words had been scratched. Phrases like, "Hey fascist, catch," and other disturbing politically charged lines. It was no random act. It was a message. The rifle itself was traced. A bolt-action model, left in a wooded area near the suspect's escape route. Footprints, a partial fingerprint, even strands of hair caught on a branch. Piece by piece, the puzzle began to form. The FBI released surveillance footage. A man, tall, wearing a hooded jacket, fleeing the rooftop, his face partly hidden, but his movements, his build, they gave investigators a lead. Thousands of tips poured in, more than 7,000 in just days. Every clue was analyzed, every call logged, and slowly, one name began to surface: Tyler Robinson. Who was Tyler Robinson? Tyler was only 22 years old, a quiet young man from Washington, Utah. On paper, he didn't look like a killer. In high school, he was bright. He earned scholarships. Teachers described him as intelligent, focused. But life took a turn. He dropped out of university, later enrolled in an electrical apprenticeship program, but never seemed settled. His family belonged to the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As a boy, he was active in faith, but as he grew older, his involvement faded. Some said he felt lost, disconnected. Motive. Investigators discovered something chilling. Online posts, private messages, search histories. They revealed a darker side of Tyler. One obsessed with politics, one filled with anger toward conservative figures. According to sources, Tyler once described Charlie Kirk as a hate spreader. He believed Kirk's speeches were dangerous, that silencing him was a form of justice. The scratched phrases on the bullet casings matched memes and slogans Tyler had shared online. It was no coincidence. With mounting evidence, the FBI tracked Tyler's movements. Neighbors recalled seeing him practicing at shooting ranges. Receipts tied him to the purchase of ammunition. DNA linked him to the rifle. Finally, in a late-night raid, Tyler Robinson was arrested. The nation exhaled. But questions remained. Why did Tyler do it? Was it purely his own obsession? Or was someone pulling the strings? The mystery deepened when a bizarre discovery surfaced. Just one day before the assassination, a book appeared online, The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, a comprehensive account of the Utah Valley University attack, published by an unknown author, released on Amazon, a full day before the murder. How could a book describe an attack? Before it happened, Amazon later claimed it was a technical error. But for conspiracy theorists, it was fuel to the fire. Was this coincidence? Or foreknowledge? The reaction was overwhelming. Supporters mourned. Opponents remained silent or whispered in shock. Politicians demanded answers. News anchors described it as a wound to America's soul. And in homes across the country, families asked the same question. If a man like Charlie Kirk, speaking at a university, could be gunned down, what does that mean for free speech in America? Tyler Robinson sits in custody, but is he the lone wolf or a pawn in something bigger? Why those specific phrases on the bullet casings? Why the mysterious book release? Why Utah, far from Washington, far from political hotspots? And perhaps the most chilling question of all, if Charlie Kirk was targeted, who else might be next? The story of Charlie Kirk is not just the story of a man. It is the story of a nation divided. A nation where words can inspire millions, but also ignite the darkest of hatreds. One voice was silenced, one family shattered, one country left with questions. This was the day America was shaken, and the mystery is far from over. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more mysterious and unsolved cases, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for the next chilling tale.